Max Corner, and we have an interesting one or a fun one today. World of Tanks is a game I got into a long time ago, and I play it off and on a regular basis. I really enjoy it because it's a competitive game that's not a Twitch shooter. So, which I find I do better in than the Twitch shooting. So, anyway, so real quick, I'll kind of throw you through the tanks. If you're not really familiar with World War II, this may not be quite as interesting to you, but it's still a cool game regardless. So you can see my tanks here on the bottom. My favorite being, I love the Stug. I just do. I love this little tank destroyer. And the Tiger. Where'd my Tiger go? Yeah, my Tiger won. So I'm not saying they're necessarily the best tanks in the game because, well, one, it's tiered. So obviously it tank's strength and weakness is going to be based on its tier and the role the tank does, because you have light, heavy, and medium tanks and all that stuff. But they're my favorite tanks to play. This is my only tier 10, which is the maximum tier in the game. I don't think that's changed. So unless something's changed, tier 10 is still the highest tier, and this is my only tier 10 tank. I can play well on the tier 10 levels. My only thing with these higher tier tanks is they fire really slow, and I just don't find them nearly as interesting as the mid and lower tiers. Lower tier can be fun on occasion, but I love like the mid tiers around tier 6, tier 7, because it's got a nice balance between being cool tanks, but then also being survivable. This is just my little Funk tank. It's really not that great a tank, but it's fun mostly because it's a heavy tank for the Germans, and it's at a tier 5. So heavy tanks for the Germans at tier 5. There, we'll take a look at the tech tree real quick. So here's your tier 1 all the way to tier 10. As you can see, I've got a good amount of the German tanks researched, just because I always, when I was a kid, I got into World War II when I lived in Germany because my dad was in the army. So that's one of the reasons I'm so fascinated with German military equipment, because that's where I kind of learned a lot about it. My appreciation for the Russian war and the Russians involved in the war didn't come until I got a little older, just because, unfortunately, even though they don't teach it like they should in America. But here's my Russian lineup. Still working on getting tier 9s and tier 10s. It's quite the grind to get up here. It's not an easy thing, and I really enjoy the T-34. It's just as awesome in the game as it was in real life at the time it came in. KVs can be fun, but they're a bit slow. I'm trying to work on this IS line, but I got a ways to go for that one. American tanks. I don't find them fun to play because just like the real World War II, So, for example, the Sherman gets a bad rap because it wasn't used properly at the Battle of Normandy. It was designed to be a fast tank and to outmaneuver the heavier tanks, and instead they tried to make it go toe-to-toe with German heavy tanks. It didn't wind up well, but regardless, in this game, you're not outmaneuvering really, and I don't know, it's just not as fun to me. No, it's just, they aren't. The British tanks, some of them can be fun. I love the Matilda and Churchill line. That's a lot of fun, but that's about the only one I like. This is artillery up here. Germans, I got their artillery to Hummel. I'm not a big artillery fan. Every once in a while, I'll be in the mood to play it, but I don't particularly enjoy it that much. French. What I love is the light tank line on the French. It's just really fun. The grinding through the early stages really stinks, but once you get to the AMX, it's just a fun little tank. This is new. I've never had a Czechoslovakia line before. This was not here last time I played, so I don't know. I might have to check that out sometime. I don't know. The Japanese were never famous for their tanks. They were famous for their navy. So I never really got into the Japanese tanks because it never seemed like really a reason. And really the same with China. I think a lot of this, and there's no problem with it, but I think a lot of this was they have a pretty large Chinese audience. And I think that was kind of a lot to appeal to them. Because really these are just Russian tanks, just like they were in real life. Just modified or Russian tanks. And that's all. And the Chinese, too, in World War II, I mean, were never famous for their tanks. So I stick with the top 4 for the most part. And without further ado, let me pick a tank, and let's get started. Who's this guy? Hi. He must have been somebody I used to play with, and I don't remember him. Oh, he's probably part of some platoon or some team I used to be part of. I used to play competitively. It was a lot of fun. Just got old. I mean, I played it. It's one of those games that's awesome, but I played it so often it got old. All right, so where am I going? Where am I going? Back to my garage. All right. Well, you can't have a good game, or you can't call it a World of Tanks gaming session without playing your Tiger. So let's go and do this. This is probably my favorite tank. I'm not saying it's the best tank for its tier, even though I like it, but it's my favorite tank. Usually doesn't take too long to get a game started either, which is pretty cool. Oh, all right. Well, we're top tier. So sometimes, even though you're tier 8, you'll go up against tier 9s and stuff. Or well, the Tiger's tier 7. But sometimes you'll go up to tier 8s, and sometimes you can double tier. All right, so hopefully oh, interesting. These range markers were not on there before. Oh, cool. They've updated the graphics and the sound of this thing. Ooh, I do need to lower the sound, I think, though.
Move out.
Okay, hopefully I didn't put it too low. Alright, so you can play in first person. What's cool about it is though you can zoom in really well. And it's really easy just with the mouse wheel. It's not complicated at all, which is fun. Alright, looks like we're defending, which should be kind of fun. I love defending. It's always easier than attacking. Now, covering and concealment are really important in this game. Like, really important. So one of the things you'll notice, my periscope go green on the bottom right. I have a technique when I play solo like I'm doing now, where a heavy tank is not designed to be a spotter. That's what the light tanks are for. But when you're playing individually and you're not coordinating as a team, one of the big being able to spot the enemy before they spot you is pretty important, and you can't always rely on your teammates. So I always like to. So I just max out my spotting. Now, this is a game about maneuvering and patience. It's about controlling the battlefield. So you kind of sit here sometimes and I have a lot to do, but getting impatient is one of the worst things you can do in this game. Also, if you ever play and you look at my record and you're like, wow, what's up with this record? There are times when you're just kind of fooling around and having fun and you're just running around goofing off, and you know, you tend to die a lot when you do that, but don't necessarily take my I actually got really good at this game. It's one of the few multiplayer games like I got like really good at. It's probably not the best idea, but nah. Oh, he's spotting. Oh. Smart little foot. Better watch out. So what he can do is he can get the artillery. If he spots us there, their artillery can really start nailing us. Oh, what is he doing? Oh, am I hitting the wrong button? Oh, there we go. So we gotta get rid of this guy. You can't stink, cause yeah, we just kind of need to. Cause if you don't get rid of their spotters, they can sit back with their artillery and just blow the living snot out of you. So yeah, so he's spotting for like their entire team, which is now eating me the hell up. Boom! Got him. Alright, so I lost about half my armor dealing with that. And you can see some shells bouncing off, which is pretty cool. The artillery coming in. Yeah, so as you can see, I lost literally about half my armor dealing with that. But I needed to, otherwise he would have just spotted for his entire team and eaten the hell out of us the hell up. So you don't want to sit still too long either, because if they've spotted you, because the artillery can zero in on you, and that gets really bad really quick. Boom! Oh yeah, did you like that? Did you like that? That was pretty slick. So another thing I like about the Tiger is it's good at close range and at distance. Some tanks specialize in one or the other. Tiger's pretty effective anywhere. That its only weakness is the lighter tanks, like the really fast lighter ones, can get around. If they get close to you, they can outmaneuver your turret, which can get really annoying. Then some of the later tier tanks, they're so heavy. They just shoot so slow and they're so heavy that shooting at light tanks becomes a real pain, because some of them can move pretty darn fast, and if you miss, it just takes forever to reload. So it's always weird to be like a heavy tank, and actually sometimes your weakness is against light tanks because they just move so quick and you miss, and all of a sudden they're all the hell over you. All right, well, this is going to turn into an easy win, I think. They have, if you look at the top right, they've got, it looks like 3 tanks left, and we've got almost our whole fight. I've got 2 kills, and obviously I have some damage in there somewhere. So now it's time to counterattack. And I've got the sound turned down, which is fine. But I need to do that so that I can talk and you can hear me, because it is a Let's Play. Now, that being said, volume and sounds are a key thing in this game. I haven't really checked it out yet. One, it's just cool. The sound and the music is really awesome in this game. And the other reason is that with this update, apparently they're using a new sound software that you can actually learn stuff about the battlefield just by listening to it. As you can see, I'm just pugging right now. Nothing too crazy. Got some awards. What is this one? Oh yeah, yeah. That was when a steel wall. Yeah, so that little medium tank that you saw where I lost about half my HP taking him out. Yeah, their entire team, I think, was trying to unload on me, or pretty close to, which is pretty crazy. All right, well, that was fun. Let's see. So another thing that's cool is, so now that the battle's over, I've got it set on auto repair. So you do have to pay to, not a lot, but you have to pay to redo your tank. But as I said, I got mine set on auto repair. But if you get blown up in a fight, you can't use your tank again until the battle's over, which is kind of neat. And some people don't like that, but I like it because it keeps people from just going in and blowing their tank up and being silly and then going off and doing it again. So now we have our Tiger 2. I can show you that one. This one's a fun one too. I still enjoy the Tiger 1 a lot more. The E100 is just kind of like a larger version of the Tiger 2. All right, we're going up against Tier 9, so you're not the heaviest thing on the battlefield this time, at least on our team. Ooh, right, now we're the ones on the offense. So, obviously, how you play when you're playing by yourself and with a team is really different. When you got a team, you coordinate everything, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, the team battles are really fun, just because it's so much communication. And you can use real-world military tactics, which is the fun thing. I'm not saying this is a super realistic game. I mean, they've made modifications so that it's fun. You know, tanks fire quicker than they do historically. But I think not substantially, but a little bit quicker. But the biggest difference is the turrets move substantially quicker than they did in real life. Interesting. What is this little MFO doing? Are they coming down here? I don't want to stand still too long is the problem. Yeah. You really gotta be careful standing still, especially in a heavy tank, because as a heavy tank, you become a priority artillery target, and they just love nailing the hell out of tanks that are standing still. Because it takes the artillery a long time to aim, and if they don't take a long time to aim and they just kind of shoot, for lack of a better word, they're not terribly accurate. But the longer they have to aim, the more accurate they are, and they freaking hurt. All right, we're pretty vulnerable, like right here. I'm not really excited about our positioning at the moment. All right, let's get down this little gully. So using the terrain to your advantage is also very important, because other than their artillery, and there are a few howitzers in the game, not very many, but you can put howitzer cannon or howitzer barrels on your tanks, and they can shoot at tanks in defilade, but for the most part, other than the artillery, it's direct fire weaponry. So using terrain to your advantage to stay either out of their ability to fire or only keeping your most vulnerable portion, aka your strongest portion, your turret, showing is pretty important too. And I like to use the maps, especially playing as an individual, to my advantage, because I know that they can't come at me really from the right. Because you can get flanked. You know, the worst thing you can do in a tank is have somebody come in behind you. Oh, they got him. I was about to get him. Well, they're not chewed up too bad yet, but they're in a little bit of trouble, I think. Okay, we're pretty vulnerable right here. I should have gone, so I made a mistake here. I should have gone to the other side of that ditch. Hopefully I'm not going to pay for it. Sometimes you just get lucky. But I totally should be on the other side of that right now, but I don't want, but you know, tanks don't go up hills well, so I don't want to start trying to go up now because it'll be really slow. I'd rather just get out of here as quickly as I can and keep my, the armor on a tank. The best armor is on the hull and the front. The weakest is obviously, and well, not obviously, but probably obviously in the rear. And then the sides are, then the tracks are obviously key points of vulnerability. So our team's really chewing them up pretty good. Yep, but then see, I get, whoa. All right, somebody just jacked us up, and I don't know who. So you can see, you can get shot at from people who don't, and you don't even know where they came from. Oh, he's coming from over there. Little SOB. Oh, all the way over there? Oh, you little. Saying you can hit them, like I just hit them. Problem is I didn't penetrate their armor. Oh, okay, well, now I'm showing you what happens when things go bad. So he is intentionally tracking me, if you're looking. And why that's a big deal is that I can't move when he's tracking me. Jeez. Oh. Oh, that little light tank got me. Oh, he's got a howitzer on him, so oh man. So, yeah, I probably shouldn't have gone in there and done that because I was by myself. But as you can see, you can get killed by people and not know where you're getting killed from too. So that wasn't me at my best right there, but it happens. So exit battle. Let's see. Let me do my Tiger 2 or my Tiger 1 again. I really love my Tiger. And then maybe I'll try another one. So I'm not going to be too long with this probably, but I'm planning on doing a few sessions just to kind of play it because I enjoy it. People can see different maps and stuff, and different tactics, and it's a fun one to watch too, at least in my opinion. All right, good. See, I like these battles. So before you saw, once we were on defense and once on offense, and the problem with offense is the defense is allowed to just be on defense. They win if you don't take their flag. Whereas here, yeah, he's trying to tell us to go here because, yep, and that's where we want to go. So that's over on the west is really where you control this map. And once again, it's all about map control. So what was I saying? But yeah, so now you can win by destroying all the other tanks or capturing the other person's flag. But unlike the other two games, they can each team can capture the other's flag, where that wasn't the case before. Once again, why I love the Tiger is it's not the best really at anything, but it's overall to me the best tank, and was rated the best tank too in World War II. Not because it had the biggest cannon or anything, but when you relate it to armor, speed, firepower, command and control, and all that stuff, it was really good overall. It doesn't really have a weakness for its time period, other than it was too expensive to build and maintain. Very, very complicated equipment for its day and difficult to maintain. And so they couldn't field, well, they actually fielded a bit more than you think, but But they lost, basically, they lost, my understanding is they lost more Tigers to air attacks than they did tank to tank. So it used to take, I believe like about 5 Shermans to take out 1 Tiger tank. They just had to keep maneuvering around it. Pretty nuts. Uh-oh. Too much talking, not enough paying attention. Okay, I don't know if I don't want to be moving forward quite like I am, I don't think. There we go. Hi. Ah. Didn't penetrate his armor. I always hate it when that happens. So where you hit the tank is also important. It's not